So if we can take a look at the moment where the sensation arose in the body that then triggered sort of the desire to say something, or maybe it was a thought that triggered a sensation and it went the other way. It doesn't really matter. But pausing for a moment, or even if you say you're so beautiful and then go into a little bit more of a description of how that actually impacted you, for me, that lands like way more love than just saying you're beautiful. Because now I felt seen in an entirely different way. And I know how I'm impacting your life. And that's a really big piece, because that's not a gift that we usually get if we just say, I love you, or we have these sort of general sweeping type statements. It's far more powerful and lands far more like love if you get more explicit with me. So the words I love you have kind of become a catch-all for all of the ways that we care about or we admire our partner. And what's even more powerful is if you can find the motivation that's behind the I love you. And now it's not to diss on I love you. There's so much behind it. And it's just, when you get in touch with what that really means for you in relation to the other person, you get to love your person so much more deeply. And they get to see all the ways that they really impact your life. So what does I love you typically mean? Well, when I've dissected this a bit myself and from my own personal experience and many people I've talked to, what I've come to is there's two different, more or less, meanings when it's coming from this heartfelt surge of like love energy moving through your body type place. And the first is, I care about you. You mean a lot to me, and I'm here for you. There's like a little bit of a commitment, like, I got you. Okay, so this is the first of the meanings. And the second that I've identified is more of this admiration and acknowledgement type quality. So, someone does something really helpful for you, and you might be like, oh, I love you, right? So we do that a lot and don't think so much about that. We usually think of love as the first definition that I described. But I would say that more often than not, it's the second one. We're admiring or acknowledging the person that we really care about. So in the first definition that I explained, the I love you meaning I care about you, you matter to me, I'm here for you, I got your back, that type of I love you. So it's not that you should never say I love you. By all means, please say I love you if you feel like that's what wants to come through. But when you tap into that motivation, like I mentioned before, about where that I love you is coming from, it can be far more powerful. So even if you just said, this type of I love you typically comes through for me, like in hardship, actually, more often than not, when I think about it, like, the I care about you, I got you, it's usually some form of like reassurance, or I see you, I'm here, you're not alone. And so what would it be like to try you're not alone, I'm here with you, I see you, using these more descriptive sentences to actually share the motivation behind the I love you. So in the second definition of I love you, where it shows up more as an acknowledgement, an appreciation, and a thank you, it's similar to the first definition in terms of what's going to make it more powerful is that you look at the motivation that's behind it. So say, you're so beautiful. There's a few things to pull apart here. So that's wonderful, right? I have some interpretation of what beautiful means. Maybe it makes me feel good for a second. But actually, what would be far more powerful for me to hear instead of you're beautiful is, what was the particular thing that I was doing or saying, the way I was showing up, that impacted you such that you felt inspired to say you're beautiful?